Hello there. Are you going to come clean, or are we just going to do this live?
Oh, I'm gonna come clean.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
I think it's actually pretty funny, so
Yeah.
probably be a good story. All right. So I didn't write down when we finished the sports, but I didn't take note of anything that needed to be edited out. So 18 SW start. We'll say, let's plan on starting at 1900 on the nose. We got
Raj.
5 minutes. All right. That being the case, let's see if I can get each episode up in its own tab.
That's what I'm doing with it right now, actually.
Did you update your iOS recently and like find that they've got like big fucking numbers on the keypad thing? Like I don't remember them being that big. I thought they were smaller.
Uh, no, I mean, but my screen size is gonna be different than yours anyway,
Yeah.
because you still have the button.
Yeah. Oh.
I think I have Bounty Hunters open already.
So I'll get into what I did this time as far as like note taking goes. Since we basically had to do fucking 14 episodes of the show in one viewing.
Perhaps.
I don't want that open in Google Drive, you fuck.
You fucking fuck.
Yeah. Fucking fuck.
Oh, that's how I was doing that. I'm getting a cold.
Are you?
Yeah.
Don't fucking give that shit to me, man. I can't afford to get sick right now. Too fucking busy.
It's just from being out in the cold. Fucking walking the dog.
Who the fuck is Matt LaFleur?
I don't know why.
Well, he's the new head coach of the Packers.
Sounds like a kicker name.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Wow.
Oh, I don't know if you can hear that, but holy shit, dude.
Somebody just hacked up a fucking lung outside. Get out of there puking.
Jesus Christ. Still hungover from the Eagles game.
Yeah, perhaps.
That's good. All right. How we doing on time? All right. Fuck, it's my toast this week. No, I don't have anything. Oh, so did we decide a date? Are we gonna do that one?
Yeah, I think so. Let me.
So what did we say?
Hang on. Stand by. Yeah.
22nd, 23rd. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll write that down. Yeah, that's not a 3-day weekend for me, but I'm sure I can take a day or two of leave.
Yeah.
So,
I'll take time off too.
yeah.
Since I'll be off probation by then, I can actually take a day off.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
LaFleur is the OC from the Titans, according to Tony Ferrari.
Huh.
How's a Canadian telling us about fucking the NFL?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What is happening?
All right. I don't have a fucking toast. I can't think of anything.
Come on, dude. I wing it every fucking time. You can too.
Hold on, I might have it.
He's researching it.
Okay, I got it. might come out of left field. No pun intended. You'll understand.
All right.
All right, we got to start this. So if you're good, I will start the 30 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we'll get rolling. To Bill Buckner, no matter how many times any other players in professional sports chokes, you will be the poster boy that everybody else aspires to.
To Bill Buckner.
Like, all I had was choking kickers on the brain. So that's the only thing I could think of. Was it going to be the Bears kicker? Was it going to be Janikowski? No, we're just going to go back in time to a baseball reference that I actually know, and Bill Buckner, and go with that one.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Let's start off with a sidebar immediately.
Sure. No intro or nothing.
No
Sidebar.
intro. Fuck it. We're doing it live. Or I'm doing it live anyway.
Go for it.
We're all worried during we do this 30 seconds of silence thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess we're breaking the fourth wall or whatever. I don't know. The YouTube audience knows we're fucking doing it because they just sit there and look at us trying to not make noise, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we got guys puking outside, fucking a train going by while we're doing our 30 seconds silence on the other podcast. That's just like, why are we worried so much about like, now I moved my arm off the table and Jason's like wincing. Like, dude, my arm hair moved. Do you think that's going to bother your 30 seconds as the train's going by? No, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, when the whole room is completely silent and you lift your arm and all you hear is, you know, it really accentuates that the arm hair sound.
I guess so.
But anyway, hello everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. You sound like you're in good spirits.
Yeah, well, the Eagles won yesterday, and you know, I'm still riding that high.
Sweet. Yeah, so it was a good weekend for Dave. Well, probably very stressful. Good at the very
stressful,
end.
Exhausting, you know, all the above. Started school again, 3 p.m. Somebody was hating on Bronco Fett's artwork.
What?
Yeah, somebody in the chat was hating on Bronco Fett's artwork.
Personally, I think it's a thing of beauty.
It is. Look at it. It's fantastic.
It deserves a frame, obviously.
It does indeed, but
have some of the excess cut off. But...
Excuse me. It has a place right here amongst our shelf of Marvels. Yep. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yep. So, all right. Do we want to start off with our day in Star Wars?
Jason, you should start off with our day in Star Wars.
All right. Before we even talk about what we're talking about this week, we're talking about January 9th, and that's January 9th, 1987.
Before we talk about what we're going to talk about January 9th.
Yes.
Okay.
So January 9th.
Get that?
Everybody got that? 1987. Star Tours opens at California's Disneyland theme park.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
okay.
all a flow, man.
Like,
this is the way it goes.
It's like two penises touching. That's what it looked like on the camera.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I'll throw a Jason off the rails immediately.
Yes.
There's a method to my madness, too, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, Star Tours opens 1987. I remember when this opened. Fun fact.
I'll bet you do.
Fun fact. I didn't ride Star Tours for the first time until like fucking 92 or 93. So I didn't get to ride Star Tours for many years until after it opened. But yeah, I remember it opening. I remember it being a big deal. And I have ridden it probably, I don't know, 50 times since then.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I'm riding it again here in April. So yeah, I'll be going back to Disneyland with my family and I'm looking forward to it.
So I'm curious, is Star Tours, damn it, is Star Tours as you knew it going to be the same, or have they updated it?
Oh, they've changed it. They've drastically changed it over the years. They did a big overhaul about 6 or 7 years ago, where they made it 3D. When the whole 3D movie fucking craze first started with fucking with the blue fuckers, Avatar. Yeah, when that came out, and then it was all about the fucking 3D movies in Hollywood. They revamped Star Tours around that same time and made it 3D. So now, in addition to being a motion ride, they also made it like 3D. You have to wear fucking 3D glasses during the thing.
I'm trying to think what year was that? What year did Avatar come out?
I don't fucking know.
Since you didn't even know the name of the movie.
Yeah, fun fact, I've never seen Avatar. So
yeah, you're not missing anything.
So somebody in the chat correct us or let us know, when did Avatar come out? Because I want to say, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, so like we as a family, when we went down to Disney, like we did it like every 3 years for a handful of times.
Yeah.
Going down, staying in Shades of Green, which
so
we talked
Disney
about
World in Florida.
Disney World, not Disneyland.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think the last time I was there. We went to Star Tours, and I don't think it was 3D. So it must have been maybe the last time we were there was like 2008. God, it was that long ago. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Fucking kids are old.
And the interesting thing is too, is when they revamped it, they somehow added something to where they can just keep adding more scenarios over and over again. 2010 apparently is when Avatar came out. And
thank you.
And now like every year they add a new scenario. Like they added a fucking Rogue One scenario when that came out. They added a fucking Last Jedi scenario when that movie came out. So they're constantly adding to Star Tours. And it's random whenever you go onto the ride, by the way. It's a motion ride. And there's some scenario that you go through. Like back in the day, it was like fucking indoor. It was like you went to fucking indoor, did a fucking thing, go in, blow up the Death Star, bada bing, bada boom. And then
I'm pretty sure that's what we did when we went through.
Yeah, and I think that was the only scenario they had. They might have had like 2 back in the day, but really when they did the revamp, that's when it was like a handful of scenarios, and it's always random what you get, so you never fucking know.
I'm scrolling through my Facebook shit right now to see the last time I was at Disney.
Yeah,
that was that was West Coast disregard.
But
would you believe we went out to the West Coast and we went to Universal and didn't go to Disney? It seems like a travesty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, I was a toddler when was last time I was in Disneyland.
Yeah,
because that was when we lived in California still.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say, for anybody who wants to discuss the differences between the two, Kristen went to Disney World a couple times when she was in high school and like once in elementary school, and she's been to Disneyland obviously multiple times with me. She says Disneyland is actually better. Like she actually prefers Disneyland.
I've heard that.
Yeah. I think it's because it's more focused. You only got the 2 parks in Disneyland, and it's very focused on that Disney lore, the fucking all the old animated movies and all that. Whereas Disney World, they got just fucking too much shit going on.
You need a week. You absolutely. We were there in 2009. That's the last time we were in Disney.
Okay.
Wow, it's been that long. Holy
that
shit.
Was like right after we met too.
Yeah.
So interesting.
The fact is, there's probably a picture of us outside of the Star Tours thing. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, press on.
And that's that. So obviously, we know that the new Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is opening in both parks this year, and a big story just hit. I think it was yesterday, where I guess Disney raised their prices, like all of their fucking ticket prices, by 25% for both parks. And it's funny because a lot of people are like pinging. They're like, fuck Disney, and they're raising their fucking prices. It's already too expensive, blah, blah, blah. Quite frankly, I like that. You know why I like that?
Why?
Because it keeps all the fucking dirtbags out. No, I'm serious. When you have to pay $150 fucking for one day of a theme park, you're going to keep all of the fucking lowlifes out of that place. And this isn't a fucking racial thing, because I grew up in a fucking town full of lowlifes and they were all white people. So I don't want to hear it. I'm talking about those people just as much as anybody else.
Nobody was making any assumptions.
People will, okay? I'm just saying, a fucking $150 per person per day fucking price tag on these tickets will keep the riffraff out, and it will only be people who are there for serious business.
So let me play devil's advocate here on that.
Okay.
But real quick though, this is one of the pictures that we were standing out there.
That's awesome.
I didn't post any pictures from inside Star Tours on the thing, but it's a picture of my son from back in the day.
About to get crushed by an AT-AT.
Yeah. Anyway, didn't come out very good for a YouTube audience. But so in playing devil's advocate, I'm going to say that we have the benefit of having reasonably priced access to Disney tickets. Now you're doing a big vacation deal, but getting the benefit of a military discount still.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and I know that you can, like, through Shades of Green and through other things, and Disney's been very, very generous with their military discounts.
Yeah, we talked about this a few weeks ago.
We did. And look, between the two of us, it's almost a half century of fucking military experience between the two of us. So I'm not saying we didn't earn it or anything else, but I think that price tag is going to be pretty steep for a family that just wants to go on and do a vacation. If I'm going to say that I'm for it, it's not necessarily like I said, you're West Coast focused, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Disney World is a family vacation experience, as opposed to like people on the West Coast going to the theme parks and they'll do Disney. Because quite frankly, I've been to Universal on both coasts now.
Yeah.
And more recently, like I said, I last time I was at Disneyland when I was a toddler.
Yeah.
So I can say that from a family vacation standpoint, Disney was a better option because there was more to do than just going to Universal. Because we spent 2 full days in Universal. We did everything there was to do.
Yeah.
So down at Disney, you could go to Universal, you can go to the Disney parks, you could go to downtown Disney and all those things. So it's way more of a family vacation thing.
Sure.
And I think that's what you want. Not everybody's going to be able to stay on the resort. So you get some exclusivity. I fucked up this word earlier. So you still get that by being able to afford to stay on the park and everything else. But I don't necessarily. I think that if you're going to raise the price point, it's because you're going to make the park better. You're going to improve some rides and things like that.
Which they are. They're constantly improving.
Right. And you want to move the price point for inflation, shit like that. But I'm not trying to price a family out of having the experience of going to Disney. That might be the one vacation they take, like their entire, their family. That's the one vacation they take.
Personally, I say fuck them. Because you know what? I've been saving for this vacation for 2 fucking years to take my family to Disneyland. We're staying on the fucking resort. We're staying in one of the best hotel rooms they got. We're going to the park for 7 fucking days. And I've been saving and we've been focused on this for fucking years. So you know what? All these people, I can't go to Disneyland for a day. Fuck off. I don't give a shit. You know what? Because your kids are probably fucking hooligans who have no fucking respect for adults. So you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Go to fucking Six Flags, okay? Spend your fucking $30 and go to one of the many Six Flags parks and fucking spend the day with the rest of the fucking lowlifes.
How much is it for the peasants to go there?
Like, to go to Six Flags?
No, for Disney. Like, what was
it's like $150, $160 a day per person.
Now it is, or they're raising it from that?
I think that's what it's going to. Before it was like $125. Now it's like fucking $150.
All right, well, it's still expensive.
It is. Yeah. And again, don't fucking care. Cry me a fucking river, dick face. That's all I got to say about that.
That's funny. So anyway,
yes. A lot of people are upset about the Disney park price raise because of the Star Wars lands that are opening. Me personally, I say bring it. And because Disney's going to make their fucking money. Everybody's going to go to see this. And I don't think we've talked about this in a while. But just to remind everybody, even though Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is opening up in both fucking parks, Disney World in Florida is getting the Star Wars themed hotel, which it's like a 3-day experience. And there's a whole storyline that's wrapped around your visit there. And that is what I want to go to. I don't mind seeing it when it opens in California, because we're going to get there before it opens in the spring. I want to go to Florida after this thing is open and it's like fully realized, and I want to do the hotel experience.
Fuck yeah.
I think that's where it's at.
Well, I'm going to go do the hotel experience and not have any kids in the fight.
There you go.
So it's like, perfect. I don't have to worry about standing in line for shit that I don't want to go to.
Yeah.
It'll be basically drinking at fucking Epcot, and hanging out in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. So that's it. That was kind of a long-winded day in Star Wars wrapped in with a little piece of local news. But anything else on Disneyland, Star Wars, Star Tours? All right. Moving on. Another little piece of news that just happened. I think it was today is when this broke. And at first I thought it was just another one of those clickbait stories. But then I tracked it down to one of these rich white guy magazines, barons.com. So I guess Bob Iger did an interview with barons.com, and he was specifically asked, like, hey, any of these new Star Wars movies that you have in development, be it the Rian Johnson trilogy or the Benioff and Weiss movies, are any of those going to be exclusive for the streaming service? And he basically said, no, we're going to release these in theaters. Any Star Wars movies that we make are going to be released in theaters. And he went on to say that things like The Mandalorian, the Cassian series, Clone Wars, that's all going for the streaming service. Right. But any movie that they make that's Star Wars is going to be released in theaters.
Awesome.
And I know that was a question that we had, because we've known about this streaming service for a while now. We know it's going to release at the end of this year, and we weren't sure, are some of these movies going to be direct to streaming?
I remember we were talking about that.
Yeah. So now we know. The Benioff and Weiss movies, whatever those are going to be.
Again, with the Benioff and Weiss thing. Like, just,
it's like right on the tip of the tongue.
Apparently.
It's Game of Thrones, man.
Weird.
Yeah. Final season coming out in 3 months.
Nerd.
Whatever. And see, you threw off my train of thought. Hopefully, or the hopefully soon to be canceled Rian Johnson trilogy would also be released in theaters if it actually ends up getting made. Hopefully not. So that was just a little tidbit that came out today. I figured it was worth talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that came out.
Yeah. So anything else on that?
No.
All right, fair enough. And then before we move into our main topic, I don't really have a whole lot for my week. One thing that happened is this is the time of year every year where my Xbox Live subscription runs out, because I got it in conjunction with like a Christmas present years and years ago. So now every fucking year my Xbox Live cuts out around Christmas Day. Right. And I didn't get a chance to re-up it recently. And then I went to go play Battlefront 2 or 3 days ago, and I realized, oh fuck, I don't have Xbox Live anymore. And I'm sitting here debating, like, do I really want to pay $60 just to play Battlefront? Like, I'm not going to play Battlefront 2 and enjoy it. I certainly wouldn't reactivate it just for Battlefront 2.
Right.
But I still love Battlefront 1, and I'm kind of going back and forth. Do I pay the $60 just so I can play that again online? And I haven't yet. Like, my Xbox is offline right now. It's very sad.
It is sad.
So,
I mean, me personally, I think you almost, it's kind of like when I'm going through school, I get very few opportunities to actually play the Xbox, and yet I still, because I pay for it monthly.
Yeah.
So I still maintain it, because if something does come out, or if there is that random moment that it's like, oh, we have time to go do it, then it's fun and it's worth doing.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm way more of an online gamer anyway, except for, some stuff I've been playing recently. It's primarily online.
Yeah.
So it benefits me more to maintain it, but we could have, you never know. It could come out that there's going to be another big Star Wars update, and it's, if it were me, I'd continue to maintain it, even if the anticipation is you're only playing it for Battlefront for now. I'm going to talk about something here in a second, where I'm going to try and talk you into doing something.
Okay.
Not
little scared.
Not like that. Don't be fucking weird. God, I'm the one.
You sure got a purty mouth.
I'm the one who talks about fucking people getting choked out by giant rubber dicks, or at least 4 foot tall piles of rubber dicks.
Help me.
I'm between you and the door.
Oh fuck! And you're bigger than me too. Fuck.
And I have a knife.
Oh god, this evening's gonna end with me crying in a corner in a fetal position. Like, why are you doing this?
Isaac's leaving. Bye, Isaac.
See you, Isaac. Thanks for stopping in.
And thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. So, all right.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, well, I had one other thing. If we have time, which we might, I wanted to do a little bit of an unboxing, but why don't you go into your week first?
So the only thing, I haven't done shit.
Yeah, me either. Really, I don't have much to talk about.
Especially Star Wars related, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got our sports talk out of the way already. So.
Yeah. So I played around with my BB-8 a little bit, just because it's fun.
I do want to see that in action. By the way.
I'll bring it next week.
Okay.
But honestly, from a Star Wars perspective, I've been so busy, and school started up again for me, so it's like it's kind of eating into my fun time.
Yeah.
But one of my Christmas gifts was I got this game called Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah, the second one, right?
The second one, Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'll tell you what, it's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt. Like, I want to play it.
I think you should get it, because honestly, for the online play is whatever. But like the story mode. There's such fucking interesting shit that happens playing in the story mode.
Yeah.
Like whenever I play Grand Theft Auto, and it's a Rockstar game, so
yeah.
But there's no sex in it. It's like the first Rockstar game ever to not have some sort of sexual thing in it. But like there's plenty of like gory shit, like shooting and everything else. It's the Wild West.
Right.
But here's why I bring it up. Every time I play a game now, I equate it to what would this game be like if it was Star Wars? You know, so everything, I'm measuring everything against, like we talked about a while back. We talked about, you know, when I was playing Destiny for a little bit,
and how Star Wars skin on that.
Fucking how awesome would that be? You know, with those giant worlds and everything else. And Red Dead's kind of in the same ilk.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Destiny, like traveling between planets, I think is probably more realistic to what a good Star Wars game would make. But just the interaction, like between like the gun, like if you had the Mandalorian as like Red Dead Redemption, and you're fucking Boba Fett like going around
like fucking Grand Theft Auto Coruscant. You know?
Exactly. Just fucking smoking fools and just you know, encountering Jedi and shit like that. I just think it would be fucking awesome. I mean, we have that game with the Old Republic, with
sort of,
but
the cool thing about the GTA games and the Red Dead Redemptions is even though you have a story that you can play, you have that option to just go fucking do whatever you want.
Exactly.
And there's a lot to do if you do that.
There's the free play stuff and having little side things that you can go and do. Like it just makes it a playable game for a long time.
Yeah, and that's what I would always do when I'd play GTA. I'd kill a bunch of hookers, I'd beat up a bunch of cops, I'd steal fucking cars and just do like random tricks on ramps and shit.
Exactly. Yeah, get motorcycles and jump off of buildings and shit like that. Yeah,
it's like how I would love to live my life in real life, you know, but
I don't.
But instead I have to live it vicariously through this game.
I don't know if I need to be fucking getting shot at by cops and helicopters, but
you know,
that seems a little much.
To each their own, I guess.
That's like California coming out.
Yeah.
OJ style fucking chase.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I was really thinking, like, because I was playing Red Dead a lot, and I'm probably not gonna be able to play it for a while school started. And you know, it makes me really think about like what is the next Star Wars game going to look like?
Yeah.
You know, what's the next big Star Wars game? Are they gonna, you know, keep pumping money into Battlefront 2 to try and make it relevant, you know, using that game engine, or are they going to try and do something completely different?
Well, they've got that game that's announced. It's not a Battlefront game, but that we don't really know much about it. It's the one that's supposed to come out at the end of 2019. I don't even remember what the fucking title is.
I don't either.
People in the chat, what's the fucking title of that EA Star Wars game?
Tony Ferrari is actually just starting to talk about it.
Yeah.
Star Wars, like an open world Star Wars game is going to be it would be amazing. I mean, it just, but and that's what I do when I play those other games, like because I need some level of just like zoning out and playing a video game. It's for me, it's very therapeutic.
Sure.
And if that game is a Star Wars game, then so much the better.
Yeah.
It's way easier to get into because you just envelop yourself in the familiarity of it.
Yeah.
They're talking about the weather. Some person whose birthday is tomorrow is talking about New Jersey being cold.
It is cold.
It's fucking freezing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 52 tomorrow, and it's going to go back down to freezing.
What the fuck?
It's like, hey, everyone in fucking Pennsylvania, you know, Jersey, Delaware, that area, like, all right, we need to start selling cold medicine and shit. So we're gonna bring it up to 50, and we're gonna slam it back down into the fucking 20s.
Yeah.
And so everybody go out and buy their Halls fucking cough drops now, because you're going to fucking need them.
Yeah, we've actually been pretty fortunate these last couple of weeks.
We have
fairly mild weather-wise.
Whereas is it saying on this one, like winter is coming?
Yeah,
it's trying to show up for real, folks.
And that person's birthday is tomorrow.
It is.
Well, happy birthday tomorrow, you person.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
And it may or may not be somebody's anniversary tomorrow as well.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why you actually. I do know why you did that, and good job. Moving on.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, that's what it is. But we don't know anything about it. We don't know if it's open world, if it's a shooter, if it's an RPG or
But
whatever.
It gives me like, I don't think we added that to the conversation last week about what we're looking forward to in 2019.
No, yeah, that was not on the docket.
So it's another list.
Yep. So we'll try to dig up some more details on this and maybe talk about it in a future episode. So before we move on to our main topic, which we haven't even said what our main topic is, but I mean, if you read the fucking title of the podcast, and obviously you know,
we're catching up on Clone Wars, bitches.
Yes, I know this is very important for all of you people out there.
Yeah.
So, but before we do that,
I don't know why.
I want to do a little bit of an unboxing. So
I'm just gonna get comfortable here.
Our West Coast PR representative Bronco Fett sent us this micro 3.5-inch Black Series figure. This Stormtrooper Executioner, as you can see from The Last Jedi, from the riveting scene where Phasma slowly orders the execution of Finn and Rose. It's that guy. Now, this, I really feel like, who is this? Hasbro? Hasbro got really fucking cheap on us. Because, we've got the fucking Black Series, the good Black Series, the 12-inch figures that we've been talking about for 6-inch figures that we've been talking about.
Jason automatically doubling it for.
Yeah,
we're not gonna. I'm not gonna carry that thought any further.
Instinct, sorry, but yeah, we've been talking about the Black Series figures forever. So recently, they've been trying to pass off these fucking 3.5-inch figures as a Black Series figure. So I'm like, wait a minute. They were charging $15 for this fucking thing, which is the exact same size as this motherfucker, this low quality, $5 figure in a little Black Series package. So what I wanted to do today, since our fantastic listener, Bronco Fett, sent us this for Christmas, the Executioner one, I want to do a bit of an unboxing because I said when we opened this that we would unbox this.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I want to go ahead and unbox both of these and compare the quality. So, Dave, would you like to unbox this fucking First Order Stormtrooper from The Last Jedi?
It's not in a box. It's on a card.
You know what I mean, dickface.
You already used dickface once. You can't use it again.
Whatever. Ass clown.
That's weak, but I'll take it.
All right, so we're going to
win!
I have a feeling these are going to be fucking damn near identical figures, but we'll see. We'll see if the Black Series of these 3.5 inches is actually any better.
I'm sure that crinkling is going to sound great.
It's perfect for the audio audience. You really get the feeling like you're opening it live.
If my puppy was listening to that, she loves the sound of fucking.
Of fucking?
Of fucking. And also the she'll play with a water bottle.
Oh yeah.
And you just put a water bottle on the ground that's empty and she just crinkles it like that.
All right,
it's all
so
about teething.
The Stormtrooper, the Black Series Stormtrooper is actually, it feels pretty good. It feels a lot better than some of the flimsy ass fucking 3.5-inch figures of the past, but it's no 6-inch Black Series. And his head is weird. His head won't go back very far. So Dave and I are going to swap once he's done fucking around over there.
Hang on, I'm putting the weapons in the appropriate places.
While he's doing that, on my mark, 3, 2.
That's your girl you're talking about.
And execute. And then the ship goes through with the other ship. All right. So you felt that one?
I felt it real good.
And same fuck. What the fuck?
It's
his little sidearm thing off.
Shit holster.
Yeah.
Well, it has the same holster on the side here.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, quality-wise, exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the articulating wrists, like as Boba Fett mentioned, the ball joint wrist, this is, to me, is actually a little bit inferior. Okay, you got some.
Yeah, this one's more solid.
You got torso movement here. Okay, but it doesn't add to the. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in this. Not in the gift. Don't be offended, Bronco Fett. But,
yeah. He got it on clearance. Don't worry.
But so the knees bend. The knees bend on that one, right?
No, actually.
Okay, so the knees bend on this. The
elbows don't bend either. So that was just more bendy.
Yeah. So it's more bendy. It didn't come with a gun.
No, he only came with the executioner stick.
Stupid.
And he's got fancy colors too. So the basic Stormtrooper, this is closer. The one that Dave opened, the $5 figure, this is actually closer to the original figures than that one is. This one it's very solid, very very stiff.
I could see if I was
but probably more durable. Say that again.
Solid and stiff. That was good. More bendy, yes. The Black Series figure is definitely, if you were going to try and build, like, say, a scene, like if you're a collector and you're trying to build a scene with this size figure, this is definitely more posable. And
I would buy a Finn and Rose figure and fucking rip their heads off to recreate that scene the way it should have ended.
We might need to make that happen.
Well, I know you can buy Rose figures for like 25 cents at the fucking local 5 and Dime. So,
yeah, I got to be honest with you. I would probably this is more of the figure that we grew up playing with.
Yeah,
this is the, we don't need the knees to bend and all other shit. We're gonna like pew.
Yeah. I'm actually more impressed with the $5 figure than I am with the Black Series. Sorry, Tom. Still love the Black Series one because he's got cool colors and shit. So he's very unique.
Come jumping out like this is like, oh yeah, he's gonna kill me. Yeah, oh no,
sir, Lord Helmet.
What? knock on my door.
All right, but again, thank you, Tom, for the gift. And
let's see. The moral of this story is, if you're going to buy a figure for your kid to play with, spend $5.
Yeah,
because your kid's going to be able to actually play with that figure and not destroy it.
Yes.
The Black Series version of the same size is not, honestly, to me, is not for kids to play with. It's posable like that so that you can create scenes and shit like that. But for for Star Wars fans that have kids that just want to have their kids be able to enjoy the toys like we did growing up, then you don't have to spend a ridiculous amount of money on the Black Series. Yeah, these Black Series that we have behind us, I mean, they're for show.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's kind of a sidebar, but still relevant. I've been researching, trying to find a stand, an adequate stand. Like, so you go on Amazon, I've done a bunch of like searching around, right? And I want to get a stand that these guys will like pose onto.
You're talking like the old G.I. Joe stands where you would like put the little, it was like the flat triangle,
it was flat rectangle, and had the post for the foot to go in. This has the same thing. It has a hole in the foot, so you can put it in. Because I have mine displayed right now, where if you bang into the shelf that it's on, it's going to fall.
Right.
So, and I don't want that. I want those guys to be able to stand up. Like, and it won't fit onto a Lego peg. Unfortunately, the Lego hole is too big and it's not deep enough anyway.
Lots of innuendo going on here.
God damn it. It's all your fault. But yeah, I've been looking for them. Everything that's out there seems to like vacillate between like, oh, this doesn't fit a Black Series figure, or this will fit a Black Series figure if you fucking cut the peg down and shit like that. I'm like, I don't want to have to modify these fucking things. These things have been out for years. I can't believe that they don't have a fucking reasonable stand to come with these. And they're collector's figures. Why wouldn't they come with a stand?
And that was going to be my next question. Since I've never opened one of these, I don't know. Do they have one inside the package?
The one I opened didn't.
Okay. I mean, I just kind of figured like maybe there would. And that being the case, if they don't come with one, yeah, you would think that they would fucking sell those things in bulk. If they're going to put the fucking hole on the bottom of the goddamn foot,
it should be there to be able to do that with.
Yeah, they should at least make those available somehow.
But I will say that they fucking stand up great on their own. Like, I have the Stormtrooper one that I bought out of the box already off of eBay. And I have the one I took out of the box because I have the TIE Fighter pilot. So, and you can, because they're bendy, you can position a feet and it can stand there in a pose, and they stand up perfectly fine.
Yeah. So
the only reason I want some sort of stand is
what
are you doing now?
Just keep talking.
Yeah, a little reverse cowboy going. I should set him up for a Dirty Sanchez. Anyway, yeah. So Bronco Fett brings up, you can get the stands cheap on Amazon. Which stand? Because reading the reviews for these things, they don't work with the Black Series. like the clear ones, or even like they had the Star Wars ones, which I read in a review on some comic book site that said, oh, they're coming, Hasbro's coming out with these official stands. And then I go to look at those stands, and it's like, oh, these are for the 3.25 inch figures. So I'm like, the fuck over. So anyway, if you do come up with a sand or something like that, send me the link over Amazon or however I can get these things, because I want my figures to be able to stay on the shelf without worried about knocking them over.
It's for display only.
That's right.
So, all right, are we ready to move into our main topic today?
Probably.
Jesus Christ, you all right over there?
Burping.
All right. So, as you mentioned, we are finishing up season 2 of the Clone Wars. To recap for anybody who's just joining us, when we first started the podcast, the original plan was we were going to go through the Clone Wars first, then do Rebels. Obviously, Clone Wars is a slow burn, at least these first couple of seasons. It's very painful to get through at times. We hear it gets better. So we started off with Clone Wars. We got through one season, got through one disc of the second season, and then finally we broke down, just like, fuck it, let's just do Rebels.
Well, what's this shit? It was, first of all, we had a fucking poll on Twitter or Instagram, whatever it was.
Mostly Instagram, yeah.
So we had a poll asking people what we should do, and Clone Wars won out. So we fucking, did the Clone Wars thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to do Rebels.
Yes.
Because at that time, Rebels was new content. It was relevant, whatever.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. The people spoke, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably some Russian bot involved in it. So later on, when Rebels concluded, then it became, okay, there's these things in Rebels that were leading in and had tie-ins to canon, and it was
big tie-ins to Thrawn.
Big, and we were having Thrawn conversation and everything else. So I basically browbeat Jason into continuing to do Rebels as opposed to with Clone Wars.
Right.
He was in a disadvantage because he was away from home and everything else. And we're doing all this shit
he took advantage of me, basically.
I did. Not the first time. So
hey-o.
Yeah. Tony's out. Keep on pegging.
Yeah.
We will certainly try.
Yeah, good night, Tony.
So
anyway, so we broke down, we finished Rebels, which I think put us in a very interesting spot. Now as we're going back to Clone Wars, and I have this note down a little bit further, but we might as well talk about it now. So we finished Rebels, good quality show, couple of stinkers mixed in here and there, either episodes that didn't move the plot forward or episodes that was just nothing but like slapsticky bullshit, but mixed in with that was a solid, 4 seasons of, good Star Wars canon, good stories, kind of interwove with the plot of the Rebels and everything, and kind of led into Rogue One and had just tons of good tie-ins.
Right.
So the bar was set for us at that point. So we had gone through the first season of Clone Wars with all of those shitty episodes, the Clone Wars movie. Then we moved to Rebels and we're like, oh, this is what an animated Star Wars series is supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have the disadvantage of now going back to Clone Wars after that bar has already been set by Rebels. And now we have to go back and finish what we started. And it's interesting. And you'll see that as we go along in the second season.
Let me caveat all of this by saying this guy thought that I had watched all of season 2 and started season 3 of Clone Wars. I was mistaken. I went into this whole thing like, I'm gonna brush up on Wikipedia or Wikipedia, and I'll be good to go. Like all this stuff will come back once I read the plot points and all that shit. So I start like from 20 and start working my way back, and I'm like, man, I don't remember any of this shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm driving home. Let me just put it on like some of the sound in the background. I hear some of this shit, then it'll jog my memory.
Yeah.
So I open up Netflix. It's in the middle of fucking episode 13. So I apparently stopped at episode 13. So I may or may not be entirely like, firing on all cylinders with this particular episode, and it's entirely my fault, and I apologize, but I'm going to make it entertaining if nothing else.
All right. Well, and the good news is we're not going to go through this like we went through previous discs and previous seasons of this, where we're not going to go and kind of get into the intricate details of every single episode, because quite frankly, we're talking about fucking like 16 episodes or something like that. We're not going to get into the details. So what I did was I did something a little bit differently. For each episode, I took like 1 or 2 lines of notes, and then I graded each episode on a 5-star scale.
Okay.
So, and remember, my bar is now set at Rebels. So Rebels is my baseline. So these are all scored basically against that. And that's how I did every episode of the season. A couple of lines and a fucking star rating system.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I was going to go through these.
All right.
And then just talk about any notes that I actually wrote.
So I'll listen to what you have to say, and then I'll tell you whether you're wrong or right.
Okay, fair enough. So jumping right into episode 9, which is Grievous Intrigue, where the big thing about this is General Grievous. He captures a Republic ship that had this Jedi, Eth Koth, on it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that was noteworthy about this episode is that Eth Koth is a Zabrak, and he's a light side Zabrak, which we've really just vaguely touched on.
Right.
I think we talked about it in the Species of Star Wars episode, where we talked about how Zabraks are very force sensitive, but there's a difference between like the ones with the red fucking and black tattoos, who are the Sith side, and then the ones that are more like brown and tan, and those are like the light side. Well, Eth Koth is obviously a light side. He's got kind of like brown and tan tones to his skin. And I think he's the first and
they might have tortured the black and red off of him, but
could be, you know, but he's the only one in current canon that we actually know as far as like a light side Zabrak that's out there. Unless we see any more later on in Clone Wars. But as of right now, like he's the only one that I'm aware of in current canon. We have a ton in the Old Republic, but unfortunately that is not officially canon. So
I want to say that I thought I saw another Zabrak Jedi in a movie, like maybe in Clone Wars.
Oh, Attack of the Clones, like in the arena scene.
Yeah,
you might be right, but that could be him too. That could be Eth Koth. Now that I think about it, we'll look it up.
Yeah,
but
it could be if it was going to be, you know, based on where the timing is, then yeah, you're right. It could be the same guy.
Yeah, but either way, this episode is really like a battle of wits between Grievous and Anakin and Obi-Wan, because Grievous captures this ship, captures the Jedi, and he knows that fucking Obi-Wan and Anakin are going to coming for this guy. And he kind of anticipates their moves. And this goes back to the whole, the Separatists are always one step ahead of the Republic. And the Republic is frustrated by this because they fucking know it. They're like, God damn it, every fucking time we think we got him, it's like they're one step ahead of us somehow, which, you know, obviously goes back to Palpatine being the leader of both fucking armies.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, this was a really good game of like cat and mouse between Grievous, Anakin, and Obi-Wan.
It seemed they didn't call this episode Cat and Mouse. They saved that for a later episode.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. But I actually found this episode to be very entertaining. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Well, that's good. I don't remember it as being. I thought it was a decent episode, but I thought there was some parts of it, like there's some of the Grievous scenario, I think just doesn't sit well with me as opposed to like, it doesn't answer for me where like what Grievous's backstory is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but we found out his backstory in season 1 for the most part.
For the most part, but it's
we got allusions to it anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. It was okay to me. I don't, but you know, and when we're contrasting it to some of the other ones, I think it was good enough sequences. There was no Ahsoka that I remember.
Yeah. No, I don't think she was in this one at all. So the episode 10 is kind of a direct continuation of that episode. And this is the Deserter. And what happens with this is that ship that they fucking captured is now crashing onto this planet. And clones are stranded down there. They got to find fucking their way back to
crashing on this planet. Like that's the way you just said it is how I heard it.
I can't understand you. Go back to your planet. But
Grievous power.
Yeah, there you go. So this was actually a really fucking neat concept because we had a whole bunch of clones stranded on this planet. They find a farm and they're like, okay, you know, wherever there are farms, there are fucking people that'll help us out.
Right.
Fucking hot Twi'lek chick answers the door like in fucking nothing, in like straps that cover her fucking nipples. And that's it, as Twi'leks tend to dress. And is 6 stars out of 5. Scott made a fucking hilarious comment about my 6 out of 5 stars and Dave Meltzer, which you probably have no idea who that is, do you?
I do not.
Okay, fair enough. So, oh God, that was good, Scott. So they find this hot Twi'lek chick, right? She's got a couple of kids with her, and they run up to one of these clones. Oh, it was fucking Rex. Rex got injured. He got like fucking shot in the chest by a sniper.
Basically.
And the kids run up to the Rex and they're like, "Oh, he looks just like Daddy." And you're like, okay. Come to find out, her husband, dude that's been boning her for a couple of years or whatever, was a fucking clone. A clone who, I guess, left the army after the Battle of Geonosis. He lost his whole fucking squad. He's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, totally disenfranchised with everything that was happening. You know, had those same realizations that most of the clones had, you know, post Order 66 and, you know, not agreeing with the things, how they went. So no, we haven't hit Order 66 yet.
No,
there was something. It was I'm
after,
transposing another battle.
Yeah, well, it basically what he said was it was after the Battle of Geonosis. His whole fucking squad got wiped out. He was the last one left. He got disenfranchised, like you said, and he's just like, I'm out. And probably around that same time, he probably bumped into this fucking hot Twi'lek, and he's like, ooh, I could go get shot at, or go fuck this fucking Twi'lek over here and make some babies.
Yeah, make babies out here on the farm.
Yeah, I'll take option B. Thanks.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the whole premise of this. And, you know, it was really focused around his family, his love for his family. And it just goes to show how they're really trying to humanize the clones. Whereas in the movies, even though we had like Rex and Cody in episode 3,
it wasn't to this level though.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the Clone Wars series, we're seeing the personalities of the clones way more than we ever saw in the movies.
Yeah. And, you know, that's the big difference between the two. And, you know, you see a lot of it in this episode, even though throughout the whole fucking episode, Rex is like, you're a fucking deserter. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm turning you in as soon as we get back. Eventually has a change of heart, obviously.
Yeah.
At the end, but really, really good episode. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars only because there was a lot of stupid battle droid slapsticky shit mixed in with this. So I'm like, I can't give it a 5 out of 5 stars because of some really fucking annoying battle droid dialogue.
Listen, so I remembering this episode, I had multiple fronts where I appreciated this show. A, hot Twi'lek.
Yeah.
You know, well drawn, nicely done.
Yeah.
That's A. B is the fact that, like, again, we're talking about the humanization of the clones and seeing that it's okay. Here's the programming as that for them as a soldier, and then here you have somebody who basically fought the programming and went and got out of all that.
Yeah.
Whether you know, some external stressor with losing his whole squad and everything else. I mean, we can appreciate those types of mentalities.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and go out, I'm going to start a life with somebody, and again run into a fucking hot Twi'lek. Which, let's face it, we don't have to say hot Twi'lek, because show me one Twi'lek female that has not been represented appropriately.
I really can't.
So anyway, that's a challenge for everyone else out there.
Yeah.
And if you find one, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, don't
ruin
fantasy.
it. And also the vulnerability too of a clone, like getting mortally wounded and basically having to rely on somebody else to like basically get them back into health.
Right.
And the slapsticky droid parts of this didn't really bother me as much as it usually does, because there was such offsetting things to it. Because remember, it's a kid show.
True, that is
true.
true.
And so they needed to have some of that, because generally speaking, throughout this entire season, like for what I can remember of it, when I was refreshing myself with, the reality is that this is a dark period.
Yeah.
Like, and we'll come to it later in, I think, episode 13, where you have that dichotomy with Obi-Wan potentially having a relationship with somebody, and Anakin kind of busting his balls about it, you know, as Anakin's doing his thing. And there's a part to that, which I'll just go ahead and say, when, you know, they talk about, you know, who's going to be the cold-blooded killer, like for the Duchess's assassin.
Yeah.
And then fucking all of a sudden, zoop, the fucking blade comes through the dude's chest, and it's fucking Anakin. He's like, what?
Yeah.
He was going to blow up the ship. Yeah. So it's just,
and he's like just totally played it off.
Yeah.
Too.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's shit like that. the darkness that is this particular period, where this period of war. And if you really are, I will say that one thing the Rebels series did for me was it made me appreciate the dialogue a lot more, like pick up on some of the nuances of what's going on in the dialogue, and you'll get way more out of it. And so far in the second part of the season is where you start to really develop on some of those things. Like you start, like those things with Anakin, it's like it's a buildup.
Yep.
You know, he already has these tendencies. You know, it's these dark side characteristics that are just either being because of his frequent interaction with Palpatine. Maybe it just is like keeps getting reinforced every time he goes to him. You know, and maybe it's even subliminally, like it's this validation. Like I've had fucking less than a week of this ethics course, right? And no shit, and I'm probably going to end up writing a paper on Star Wars ethics.
Nice.
Just because of shit like this, right? So you have Anakin, who truly believes what he's doing is right, even though it's the wrong thing to do. Like going and killing fucking Padawans, baby Padawans, yet he believes that he's doing the right thing because it's going to save somebody's life.
Sure.
So there's this whole ethical and moral dilemma on the other side of that. And as you get through Clone Wars, we start developing, and like you start to see the background as to why this could potentially happen. So I think they're doing a good job of that. Anyway, that was a long diatribe, you know, in a particular episode, but I give this 7 out of 5.
Wow.
Regardless of your 6, because
there's your Meltzer review right there.
So
7 out of 5 stars.
1 star for each Twi'lek, each of the Twi'lek twins, and the innuendo thereof.
Right. All right. So the next episode, episode 11, is called Lightsaber Lost. This is our first Ahsoka-centric episode. And knowing this going into it, I'm like, oh, God, another fucking Ahsoka episode. But ended up not being terrible. I mean, certainly was not my favorite episode of the season. There were some unique nuances with this fucking old guy that she met from the fucking Jedi archives who kind of helped her go into the underworld of fucking Coruscant.
Yeah, because the way the episode was, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably wrong, it was she was getting punished for something, right? And
that happened like earlier in season 2, yeah, because it was a continuation of that.
That's right.
Where
she was down there in the archives being basically punished. Like
Yeah.
you go to your room and you know you're not allowed to go out and play.
Yeah, because she fucked up and she like disobeyed orders, and they're like, all right, you're working the archives for a while.
That's right. I remember. Okay, that was we did that episode on the show.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was disc 1 of season
It all
2.
comes back to me.
Yes. So yeah, so she was down there. Ultimately, she fucking loses her lightsaber to a fucking pickpocket, and it's her and this other fucking old ass Jedi going down into the underbelly of Coruscant looking for the lightsaber. Not as bad as you would think. Like that's ultimately what it came down to. Is like I thought an Ahsoka centric episode was going to be shit, and it wasn't terrible. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars.
I had this in my head. It was the old man from Family Guy. Would you just bring your muscly arms over here? Yeah.
No, thankfully there was no like subtext there at all. No pervy stuff going on.
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah. So then we get into, I think it was a 3-part series.
Get your sweet ass back here.
Yeah.
I gotta work on that voice.
We get into a 3-part series where we go into some Mandalorian stuff.
Right.
So yeah. Well, yeah.
A lot.
And they made it sound like there was a lot of backstory that we were supposed to know, but there really wasn't.
There wasn't.
Yeah.
The whole reason for watching Clone Wars is to be like, let's get filled in on the backstory with some of this. Like, no,
they jump right into it. They just shove it in there, like you
really
do with your woman. But what?
You shouldn't.
No,
you shouldn't do that. It's bad.
With consent. I mean, just anyway. So the first episode 12, is the Mandalore plot, and all kinds of stuff to get into. It starts off where what? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So
go ahead.
I took a lot of notes on this one because it starts off where this fucking broad that's the leader of the Mandalorians right now. She is also the leader of this
Duchess Satine.
Yes, where she's the leader of the Council of Neutral Systems. So, and this is like when the voice guy is talking at the beginning. And the Council of the Neutral Systems is being run by And he mentions that there are 1,500 systems that are part of this neutral system alliance that don't want to get involved in the war or not. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, Scott Rasmussen just let me know that the vibrating phone is going to be great for the audio only audience.
Oh no!
So I'm putting that over there. It's
okay.
It's definitely mine.
Okay. But yeah, the fucking voice guy at the beginning of this episode mentions that this fucking neutral alliance has 1,500 fucking systems. This goes back to the episode that I want to do on how big is the fucking Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah.
Because if there are 1,500 systems in the known galaxy that want to be neutral, how many are there in the fucking Separatists and in the fucking Republic? And that's the kind of shit that like really fascinates me. Like, how many planets, like habited planets, are there in this fucking universe?
Yeah, draw a map of like here is the galaxy.
Yeah.
And see where these planets fall. Yeah. And there is some, you know, we get that in Legends material where it brings up the do you like how they fucking got me saying it now?
What's that?
These fuckheads that put out these books. They got me saying Legends now when I wanted to call it Expanding Universe.
Yeah.
But no, they fucking brainwashed me into calling it Legends.
Yeah.
God damn you. Damn you.
I'm just not sure who you're reflecting that to. You talking to Disney? Or are you talking to Lucasfilm?
All the above.
All
the above.
Del Rey?
Yes.
Okay.
Equivocally. What I was trying to say was in those books, they would have maps and it'd show the outer rim and things like that.
Keep talking.
But it's one of those things where I want to see that in the new canon. I want to show us what the galaxy looks like.
Yes.
As we go through and do certain things, because especially with the Thrawn books, we got worlds that weren't accounted for that were really important to what was going on with the canon.
Oh yeah.
And I'd love to have a visualization of where these places are. Like, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So, and if it's kind of hard to see.
Apparently it's a spiral galaxy.
Yeah. Well, the Milky Way is too. But yeah, you got the unknown regions up here. You got the fucking, all this stuff. You got the core worlds, you got the outer rim, wild space, which for the longest time, I thought wild space and the unknown regions were the same thing. No, completely opposite ends of the galaxy.
Yep.
But yeah, just, you really think about it. And like, I go back to this video. There is a video out there, a YouTube video that says you have no idea how big the universe really is, or something to that effect. I even posted it in our private Facebook group. That is such a mind-bending video when you really think about it.
Is it the one where it represents like the size of the planets and it goes like
and
to
it
Jupiter
keeps zooming out and zooming out and zooming out, and you're just like, fuck. Yeah, where how like the known universe is like 150 billion light years wide.
And it constantly expanding.
Yeah, that's like, you can't even wrap your fucking mind around that.
That's a whole nother level of discussion when you talk about,
but
like,
I want to have that
expansion of the known universe, because it's like, if you're talking about if the universe is everything, then how could it possibly expand? What does it expand into? Right? It's infinite.
It's one of those things that will just like make your brain melt as you're thinking about it. So anyway,
you definitely have to be drunk to like have that conversation, because you know what? I'll bet universe snow globe and we're all the snowflakes.
You might be right. But anyway, the Mandalore plot.
I don't know. I'm trying to break it up with some funny.
Yeah. So we're mentioning Mandalorians. So the chick that runs Mandalore is also in charge of this fucking whole group of neutral systems. And I guess our heroes are trying to go to her and be like, hey, join the Republic, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
There's rebels that are like rebel Mandalorians, and something happens with like Jango Fett. Jango Fett is mentioned in here also. This is where I made a note that the animation in this series has improved by leaps and bounds from the beginning. Like the animation, especially if you really pay attention in this episode where they go to Mandalore, it's fucking beautiful. Like, it's really, really well done.
I was going to save it for the end, but there's a maturation process as we're seeing it, as these episodes get longer in anticipation of a longer run and it being well received. You can tell they're putting more effort into, these things.
Yeah. And we talked about the Duchess. She's fucking this hot blonde Mandalorian chick, and she immediately starts having like a familiarity with Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
There's some back and forth, a little bit of flirting going on.
Well, Obi-Wan flirts with everybody.
He does.
He's the William Shatner of fucking
like,
Star Wars.
Like he's probably boning Ventress. Let's be real now.
Yeah.
He's hitting that. Like,
hopefully,
like fighting her during the day, hitting it at night, you know.
Yep.
But and then this fucking rebel Mandalorian dude, I can't remember his name, I didn't write it down, pulls out the fucking Darksaber, which we saw plenty of.
This is the leader of the
rebel cell of Mandalorians. What the fuck is their name?
Oh fuck, I can't remember.
Yeah, I didn't write it down. But anyway, they're a group that's trying to take over Mandalore because they think the Duchess is like some pacifist cunt who shouldn't be in charge.
Well, she keeps representing herself as a pacifist cunt.
Yeah.
You know, so that's hence why they
they keep she's talking like, we don't want to fight. We're all about peace and love and rainbows and flowers and blah,
which is
blah,
odd coming from a Mandalorian.
Yeah, I know, right? And he even mentions like during the fucking Old Republic, he says those words during the time of the Old Republic, we fucking fought against the Jedi, and this fucking Darksaber was used to, you know, kill a bunch of you fuckers.
Mhm.
So I don't even remember how this episode ended, but I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah, there's a as we go into 13, I'll bring up my point on that because it's a continuation.
Yeah. So yeah, the next episode is a continuation of this Voyage of Temptation, which is basically Obi-Wan, Anakin, fucking the Hot Duchess, a bunch of other people are just like beating feet to Coruscant. They're like, we got to talk to the council to make an amendment to, you know, loosen some regulations and, you know, whatever. But
Obi-Wan's trying to loosen something up.
Yes, he is. So clearly there's a history there with him and the Duchess. Like, they're all kinds of flirting, all kinds of talking about the past. Even Anakin's like,
and they're being real bitchy at each other, you know, just kind of like taking opposite ends of the spectrum. The thing I found intriguing about this episode is Anakin seeing the interaction between Satine and Obi-Wan and kind of like poking at it a little bit. Like, it's like, hey, seems like you guys are kind of know each other. And at one point in the fucking lift, Anakin's just it's like, hey, did you two ever? And then Obi-Wan's like, I don't see how that's relevant at all.
Yeah.
And Anakin's like, yeah, I know it.
Right. And during that conversation, I think it was that same time where Obi-Wan mentions that him and Qui-Gon spent a year on Mandalore, which I don't know if that was written anywhere in any books or if it's part of any comics.
I don't remember ever hearing that because obviously it was when he was a Padawan. So him and her were running around together when they were basically preteens, because we see Obi-Wan initially with Qui-Gon as basically somebody in his teenage years. Yeah, it is a good quote. That is a good line. Big Lovin says she ignites his lightsaber.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah, his lightsaber is fully ignited whenever he's around her. But yes. So. I mean, I would imagine. I know there's like an Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon comic book out there. There's the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon novel that's coming out soon.
It doesn't. I had the graphic novel.
Okay,
for that.
They didn't go into the Mandalore stuff.
I don't think so.
Well, we know there's a novel coming out.
I'll pull it out
at some point this year, so maybe they talk about it then. But yeah, it was interesting that he mentioned that. Like, he made a point to mention that him and Qui-Gon were on Mandalore for a year, and obviously that's how he knew her and everything else. So this was just a decent episode. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The thing that we talked about, though, was Anakin at the end, where, you know, the Mandalorian fuckers try to, or was it the Separatists? Either way, somebody tried to fucking hijack the ship while they were trying to get to Coruscant. Dude has fucking homegirl like at knife point. Obi-Wan's like, oh, I cannot intervene. I can't kill him. And Anakin's like, fuck it.
Well, yeah. Actually, Obi-Wan doesn't really say anything. It's the dude. They catch him monologuing. Right. So they go into this whole thing like, I loved you all the time. And Obi-Wan's like not picking up what she's laying down.
Yeah.
And then finally he realizes it. So they're in this like this standoff. And then she jumps on his fucking foot. Meanwhile, he still has the detonator. She's got him pointing with his gun. The fucking senator, the crooked senator's gun.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan's got the lightsaber, and they're monologuing, and Anakin comes up and makes a comment, you know, after he says, like, which one of you is going to be my cold-blooded killer? Shoop, and Anakin takes him out.
Yeah, just
and
like
then,
straight up, just, like, kills a dude.
Doesn't say shit, just brip, right through the chest.
Yeah.
And says, what?
Yeah, he was going to blow up the ship.
What? He was going to blow up the ship.
And Obi-Wan was just like,
okay. Anakin. Like, yeah, this is the shit. You're watching this kid. You shouldn't be standing there on the high ground going and being surprised that this motherfucker turned on you.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. So the next episode, episode 14, the Duchess of Mandalore, she gets to fucking Coruscant, proposes all of her regulatory amendments or whatever the fuck they do in the fucking Jedi Council or the fucking Senate. The only note I made about this was that Palpatine comes off as like especially evil in this, because really throughout this whole second season, he's kind of a dick. Like, not just in this one, but in later episodes too. He, like, the Palpatine, like the guy who's the Chancellor, you know,
right.
Like, he stopped being a nice guy and he's being an asshole, like, out in front of everybody. Like,
yeah, well,
he doesn't really fucking
he's
care
been granted the executive powers that he needs, so fuck it. He doesn't need to be a nice guy.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't take any more notes on this episode. I don't even remember what else fucking happened, but I gave it 3 out of 5 stars.
Fair enough.
Moving on to episode 15. This is Senate Murders. Oh god, this fucking episode. It was bound to happen. So this is a Padme-centric episode where it's like her and fucking Bail Organa are investigating all kinds of murders of senators who don't. That's right. The whole fucking episode starts off with Padme wants to cut military spending. She's like, we need to cut military spending. We need to stop the fighting. It's the only way that we'll win this war is if we cut military spending and we let diplomacy resume. And I wrote this. Hold on. Where's my note? Padme wants to cut military spending, halt clone trooper production. Moron in capital letters. You fucking dumb cunt. That is not going to stop the war by not producing fucking weapons when the other side only wants to fucking overthrow you. So that...
Oh, Jason, what are you talking about? Obviously, if you stop fighting, then they'll stop fighting too.
Clearly.
That's exactly how that works, Jason.
Yeah. So if we had just stopped attacking Hitler, then he would have stopped murdering fucking millions of Jews and stopped taking over Europe.
Like, hey, look, I won. Like, yeah, because that's how that
fucking
works.
Dumb bitch. So, God, this episode was terrible. This was the worst episode of all of season 2 by far. I gave it 2 stars. I probably should have given it 1 star. Honestly.
Why did you give it 2 stars?
I don't know. Fucking 1 star. I'm changing it. 1 star out of 5.
Ooh, he's changing it, people.
Yeah, fuck Padme. And the broad that does her voice in this doesn't sound anything like Natalie Portman. It is the same chick that does the voice of Vet in The Old Republic, and I like her. I don't like this version of Padme.
Well, it's because it's Padme.
Yeah. It's Natalie Portman. It's really hard to replace that.
Agreed.
So, all right. Moving on to episode 16. It's Cat and Mouse that we were talking about. And this is... this was like a big military strategy kind of thing. I think this was the one that had that fucking alien who was supposed to be like some crazy military technician having some big space battle. It was...
Oh, pause. Let's go back to 13, right?
Oh, okay.
Go back to 13.
Sure.
I just remembered it. The fucking murder droids or the assassination droids, right?
Yeah.
You've seen The Matrix, right?
Yes.
Did it not remind you of the fucking spiders in the fucking Matrix?
Oh, yeah.
It was like a cheap knockoff of the fucking things. And
yeah.
Like, even grosser, like anybody that fucking... So I don't like spiders. I do not like them. I will annihilate every spider that I encounter, like, ever. I don't care if they fucking eat mosquitoes. They don't eat enough mosquitoes to let them live.
Yeah.
So, and they probably will ultimately kill me and fucking lay babies in my fucking eyes. My dead...
That's a visual.
Dead little eyes. So the fucking... the spider effect from the Matrix, and then like the fact that all the little baby spiders like came out of their head. I'm like, fuck this fucking episode. Nope, I'm done. Peace out. They're just fucking baby spiders climbing out of this fucking dead spider like you just watched it on some fucking YouTube video. Like, nah, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Oh,
I'm
God.
out. That's probably why I stopped fucking watching it.
That's funny.
Because there's fucking baby spiders.
Did you?
Fuck you.
Did you? I'm sorry. Did you ever see the Blue Lagoon with Brooke Shields back in the 80s?
Oh, you mean the kitty porn? No, I did not.
Yeah, that was fucking weird, man.
Yeah, it was
like,
a different time.
Even back then, I'm like as like a fucking 6-year-old kid, I'm like, this doesn't seem right.
I had no cognitive abilities at 6 years old, apparently.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember shit.
Anyway,
Probably because I was living in California.
there was a scene in that movie where a spider crawled out of a dead dude's mouth, but
That's what you remembered about that.
Well, no, you talking about the spiders reminded me of that. So, all right, cat and mouse, big space military battle, 3 out of 5 stars. So, the next episode is a kind of a continuation on that. It's called Bounty Hunters. Ahsoka joins the mix, and right from the start, fucking Anakin and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan are having like their little bickering. Remember in season 1?
Yeah,
when Anakin,
the
Ahsoka,
super
and
annoying
Obi-Wan.
fucking.
Oh my God, I'm like, what the fuck? This shit is back fucking 17 episodes into the season, and now I got to listen to this bullshit. It very quickly fucking tapered off. Thank fucking God. And I even wrote that, and fucking Hondo shows up in this. Remember?
I read the summary on this, and the fucking Hondo bullshit. Like, oh, we're gonna team up with these other fucking bounty hunters, and then to save Hondo. Who fucking cares about fucking Hondo?
Yeah, and my final review of this was it wasn't the worst 2 out of 5 stars because it ended up not completely sucking, but it was still pretty annoying.
It didn't Padme suck, but it sucked.
So then we get into the 2-episode series, The Zillo Beast and The Zillo Beast Strikes Back. You might as well fucking call it Star Wars Godzilla because that's what this fucking series was all about. It's like, okay, it starts off, first of all, starts off with fuel, right? Because now fuel is the big thing in Star Wars. It's because we need this planet in order to secure fuel for the Republic.
Remember, this came out before all that.
It did, which I mean, it's just funny because now all of a sudden in our little world,
we recognize fuel everywhere now.
Yeah, so fuel is everywhere. So they need this world to fucking do this. But it seems like whoever created this episode, whoever was like the creation lead for these 2 episodes, had a fucking hard on for Lord of the Rings and had a fucking hard on for Godzilla, because this episode starts out like fucking Return of the King. So that's awesome. Where you remember Return of the King when they're fucking attacking the human city, Minas Tirith, I think it was. And it's like a fucking 100,000 troops all fucking lined up in these like fucking square grids all over. Did you even see Lord of the Rings? You know what I'm fucking talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I don't believe you.
I don't remember seeing that.
You don't remember Return of the King, the final movie, when there was like fucking like 200,000 fucking troops all outside of Minas Tirith about to like try to siege it and all that?
You know what? I'm humanizing troops. They weren't humans.
They were orcs and fucking trolls and fucking goblins.
It was
all that
orcs.
shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked like a scene from that where it's like these fucking 200,000 battle droids are all trying to siege this this governing fucking city or whatever, and our people have this fucking EMP bomb it's like the super weapon, you know, the what did they call it?
Well, we've seen the EMP shit been. Oh, that was in Rebels though.
Yeah, this is they called it the Doomsday Bomb, but basically it was like a nuclear bomb that did like a big fucking EMP pulse that like knocked out all the electronics in the area.
Yeah, well, and there's it's not precedence because this came first before Rebels, but we know that this is used again.
Sure, yeah. But ultimately, this like makes a big crack in the fucking earth. It does work, by the way. It fucking takes out like all of those fucking battle droids. This one little fucking bomb that they strap to like one fucking Y-wing. But it cracks open the earth and lets loose this Zillo Beast, it's a fucking Godzilla, right? It's this fucking just massive, super large thing. This whole ordeal with Obi-Wan and Anakin, like running from it and trying to fight it, and they can't penetrate its armor, blah, 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 blah. And they eventually subdue it with like these fucking rays that are made out of the native gas from the planet. It's kind of like it's kryptonite, I guess. Yeah, it's stupid. So they subdue the thing and they're like, all right, we got to take this to some fucking outer rim world because it's like the last of its species, right? But Palpatine's like, no, you need to bring this to Coruscant because we have to study it and we have to find out like what its armor is made of. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, I know exactly where this is fucking going. And sure enough, in episode 19, first of all, 2 out of 5 stars for the episode 18. And then in episode 19, they get the motherfucker to Coruscant, and what does he do? He escapes. He gets loose and he's climbing over buildings like fucking Godzilla. Yeah, it's so fucking cheesy. It wasn't bad. I gave this episode 3 out of 5 stars. But yeah, it's like you could tell whoever made this had a huge fucking boner for Godzilla. The only thing that I wrote about this that was kind of redeeming was more Palpatine like being like a fucking asshole. Like he's like, no, just kill the thing in its sleep and then we'll study its armor after it's dead. We'll rip its fucking armor off.
Kill it.
Yeah, so
why would you not kill the fucking giant? Like, no, bring it to a super populated place because it absolutely won't escape.
Yeah,
why would it do that? It's subdued, obviously.
Yeah,
no survival instinct whatsoever.
Now the last 3 episodes are all kind of like intertwined into one storyline, and it's around Boba Fett,
which is it's intriguing.
Yes, it's so he. Because as you know, Boba Fett was a clone of Jango Fett, which all of our clone troops were clones of Jango Fett.
Right.
And he infiltrates the academy and he gets in as a cadet with the purpose of assassinating Mace Windu, right? Because Mace Windu killed his fucking dad. So,
right.
Okay, naturally makes sense. He would want to fucking kill Mace Windu. So this first episode is Boba sneaks onto the ship where Mace and Anakin are, and many failed attempts to assassinate Mace Windu. Doesn't fucking work. He eventually beats feet off with fucking what's her name, Aura Singh, the fucking like Hare Krishna looking chick with the mostly bald head and the fucking ponytail on the back, and Bosk and one other fucking asshole who doesn't really matter.
Right.
But they all escape on Slave One, and that's this episode. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And then it's a continuation of that. The next one was called R2 Come Home, which just judging from the title, I'm like, oh, this one's gonna suck. And it wasn't the worst. It was a continuation of that. The fucking ship that Boba Fett tried to blow up crashes on the surface. He's still with the bounty hunters.
I actually saw that. I saw this episode.
Yeah.
I don't know why I saw it independently of the other ones.
Yeah. But he was still trying to kill Mace Windu. They're like, oh yeah, if we kill a Jedi, then the fucking separatists will pay us a lot of money. Not much to it. I give it another 2 out of 5 stars.
Just to be advised, the kickoff for the national championships happening right now.
Okay, fair enough. We'll keep you updated if we get any scores. And then going to the last episode of season 2, it really kind of went off like a fart in church because it was the 3rd in this series. Again, fucking Boba Fett wanting to kill Mace Windu. They take some clone and admiral hostages.
Why is a fart in church the thing? Why is that a thing?
Because this is a season finale. Or are you just talking the
fart in church? I'm not talking about the episode.
It's always been an
colloquialism?
expression. It's an
why?
expression. I don't know. There's a lot of expressions out there that I have no fucking clue
like
where
Bob's
they came from or why they are the way they are. But they just eventually get used by people, and fucking you use them too. So
I'm just curious. It almost makes me want to go to church and fart.
I mean, for me,
see what happens.
For me, maybe it's because you go to church, you think you're going to get this enlightening experience, and then all you really hear is some fucking asshole next to you fart. So that's kind of the way I experienced the season finale.
Or like babies crying and shit like that.
Yeah. So it just more shit with like hostages and fucking Hondo is back.
Look.
Why am I not surprised, Tom?
Oh, Bronco.
There's some really cool scenes where that's right. So Ahsoka and fucking what's his nuts? Plo Koon, I think he is. They go into the fucking underworld.
The Predator guy.
Yeah. They go into the underworld because they're looking for clues.
That's who should be voiced by Nick Nolte.
Yes.
Plo
Who knows?
Koon.
It might be.
Yeah.
Might be. And there's actually I really liked these underground clubs that they went into. There was like one bar that they went into that was just like a real fucking seedy looking bar, and then they went into like kind of like a nightclub kind of thing. I thought they were actually really well done. I thought they were cool. I'm like, fuck, I want to go to that place, And then there's this one scene where Ahsoka kind of like looks inward, looks into the forest, and kind of like has like her Superman moment where she like starts like focusing on all the different conversations going on in the bar. She's trying to get information, and it's just really cool shot where the camera's like spanning around her, but all you hear are all these different conversations happening simultaneously, and she's focusing on each one individually. Really neat shot. Really well done from the director or whoever put the show together. Yeah, they get away on Slave One, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Oh no. Slave One gets destroyed at the end of this. Like, it gets fucking shot down. One of its little fins gets blown off, and it goes down and it fucking crashes. And I'm like, is it just completely gone? What happens? How does Boba Fett eventually get Slave One? And then fucking Boba Fett and Bossk are captured by the Republic, and they're taken to fucking Republic jail or whatever. And that's kind of the end of it. Like, Boba Fett still hates Mace Windu. Mace Windu's like, get over it, you little shit. And that was really the end of this. It was it was decent. It was, like I said, 3 out of 5 stars. But overall, this season 2, better than season 1. A lot better than season 1.
Yeah, I agree.
But you compare it to Rebels, and it's just like, this is under par. I'll just say that.
Well, yeah, establishing straight away that Rebels is the baseline for us. And I think that regardless of my inactivity for finishing the season, there was a maturation process with this.
Yes.
You know, with the storytelling, with the animation, the character development, everything got a little bit better.
Yes.
So we've been told that season 3 is better.
Yeah, it's where it really starts getting good, allegedly.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that, honestly.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I don't hate season 2. There were some real stinkers, and overall it was just mediocre at best. But it was far better than season 1.
Yeah,
it's better.
It's a market improvement for sure.
Yep.
And it just shows that they started to invest in the product.
Yeah. And, you know, there are characters that I'm starting to really like. I really like the clones, like we were talking about before, the humanizing of the clones.
Hot Twi'leks,
you know, good animation. So there's a lot to look forward to as we go into the next 3 seasons of the show. So that's it, though. I wrote in the notes here for next week. Maybe we do the reordering of the movies, because quite frankly, I have to work this weekend and I'm not going to have much time to do any more research. So whatever we do for our next episode is going to have to be a research-free episode. So I think this could be a good time for us to do our reordering of the movies, because we talked about that last week.
Sure.
So maybe.
Oh, we didn't talk about it on air. We talked about it in the chat, but we didn't talk about on air about the date.
Oh, yes, the date for the 100th episode.
Right.
So
although I think based on Jason's calculations, we would actually be taping the 100th episode on like the
April 1st.
April 1st. However, we're going to have podcast magic happen.
Yeah.
And we're going to do our 100th episode. It's going to be the weekend of the 23rd.
Yes.
So
to accommodate people who for some reason want to come to New Jersey and see us.
Yes.
So
which is exciting, and if not a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I keep telling
hosting people from out of town.
Yeah, I keep telling Kristen this, and she's like, why do people want to come to New Jersey to see you guys? I'm like, because they like the show. You know, she's like, are you sure they're not going to like fucking murder you or anything? I'm
this is the general consensus. We don't believe that's to happen.
Yeah.
But other people think it's like, so Clemson just intercepted and scored. Wow, they're having a game.
What? It just fucking started.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Tom said Clemson with 3, and then Clemson just intercepted and scored 2 minutes later. So holy fuck, dude. I hope it comes to be. I will love to be wrong.
Yeah.
On my picks based on. Yeah, we'll talk about hotels and stuff like that in the area. But Jason and I, we talked about it. We'll most likely take the Friday the 22nd is a work day for us, so
yeah.
we'll take that day off, and we'll do fun stuff on the 22nd and 23rd, and we'll more details of the SOE as we get closer to it. But that's gonna be when we're gonna do it.
That'll be the designated weekend.
Yep.
If you can make it out, great.
If you
not,
can't, we'll miss you.
It sucks, but
you can come out for the 200th.
Yes. Oh God, yeah. We'll look at that in 2 years. So
would it be 2 years? Yeah, I guess it would.
Yeah, it's about a year every. No.
No, because you do 50 episodes a year, right? 52 weeks.
Yeah, so 2 years is 100 episodes ish. Right?
That's crazy.
That we've been doing this almost 2 years?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy fuck. Wow. All right. So mind blown. So yeah, hopefully we reorder the movies next week because we've been talking about this since episode 1 when we ordered the movies the first time. So I'd be curious to see where Rogue One and Solo and Last Jedi fall in your list, as I'm sure you'll be curious to hear where they are in mine.
Yeah, and we'll have to figure out because I don't want to get too far removed from Clone Wars. I think we just have to give ourselves a little bit more time because we're both starting fresh with season 3.
Yeah,
so it'll be good.
Yeah, and I have no knowledge of it beyond the fact that I know we eventually see Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't know shit about Clone Wars, where it goes from here, beyond the fact that he comes back.
So it'll be good.
Indeed. So thank you, everybody who joined us on the live stream. I noticed at one point we had like 14 people in the chat, which was pretty awesome. And we still got 8 people sticking around.
Hanging on, even though the national championship game is on.
Yep. So thank you guys for sticking with us. Go watch the college championships. And until next week, Dave and everybody else, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Okay, now what do I click?